The heavens and earth are the drums, and all things are the army. As this deep voice echoed in Yan's mind, his palm slowly lifted. At that moment, it seemed as though his palm had become the commanding order that moved the heavens and earth, with every fine movement of his hand issuing the most authoritative command to the entire world. Yan's palm was then placed on the space itself. In that instant, the entire surrounding sea region fell into silence. All the powerful fighters who had been in combat stopped, staring at what was about to unfold. An unbelievable, miraculous scene. Boom. When Yan's hand struck the space, it wasn't the sound of the space shattering, but rather the sound of a war drum, as if it came from the very origin of the world. Rumble. The war drum's beat, filled with the intent of the heavens and earth, reverberated like thunder, resounding across the expanse of the world. It was followed by a series of echoes. At that moment, the entire world trembled, not as an illusion, but a true tremor that shook the entire realm. The effect of Yan's palm strike was immense. Everyone, including the Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple, the Grand Elder of the Stellar Radiance Pavilion, and even Elder Lu of the Martial Realm, all stared at Yan in astonishment. Although Yan had just performed an ordinary slap, they had no idea how he had done it. That kind of power to control the world with a single movement was something even they could not fathom. However, as Yan's movement caused the world to shake, on the opposite side, tens of thousands of miles away, Tai Heng had already manifested his supreme Dharmakaya. Stepping out of the swirling vortex of spiritual energy was a giant towering over several thousand feet tall. The giant was pitch black, wrapped in bandages around its neck and waist, holding a giant sword as long as its body, although the blade was missing a portion of its tip. Roar. When the giant, wielding a broken sword, appeared in the world, its roar, filled with a fierce and murderous aura, shattered the space around it. Even the clouds within 100,000 miles were pushed away by this force. Many powerful figures looked at the supreme Dharmakaya that Tai Heng had manifested. Almost all of them felt a sense of unfamiliarity, for this was not one of the 99 supreme Dharmakayas, but in terms of strength, this one was certainly strong enough to rank in the top 40. The Great Thousand Worlds is vast and filled with countless extraordinary beings, so no one dared to claim that the 99 Dharmakayas represented the strongest in the world. After all, there would always be someone capable of condensing a supreme Dharmakaya even stronger than those of the 99. For instance, the supreme Dharmakaya Tai Heng had manifested right now, truly worthy of being the Flame King. Though only a 5th grade supreme, your methods are countless. Now, I am using my full strength against you. Even if you die today, you should feel proud. Tai Heng's figure appeared above the giant's head, and his gaze toward Yin was filled with the same ferocity as the Dharmakaya beneath him. This is the great sword mystic demon body I spent nearly 100 years cultivating. Today, I will test its power on you. Tai Heng's words spread across the sea, and all the powerful figures present, including Elder Song and the other 4 9th-grade supreme experts, had ceased fighting, turning their attention to the battle between Yin and Tai Heng. The battle between a 5th-grade supreme and a 9th-grade supreme was originally an uneven match, but it had now become the most exciting and intense fight, and no one would underestimate Yan's strength anymore. Even though Tai Heng had already summoned his supreme Dharmakaya, no one dared to belittle Yin. After all, they couldn't predict what astonishing combat power the Flame King of the Martial Realm might demonstrate next. Like that earlier strike that moved the heavens and earth. As everyone watched, Yin, standing opposite Tai Heng, slowly clenched his palm into a fist and struck the spatial drum once again. Boom! The war drum's sound, resonating with the will of the heavens and earth, spread out once again. As the battle drum sounded, the previously peaceful world, where everyone had stopped fighting, was suddenly filled with smoke and powder. The clouds, which had been pushed away by Tai Heng, swept back in, and then came the deafening thunder that rang throughout the heavens. The heavens had changed. Boom, boom. Thunderous sounds erupted from the black clouds that covered the sky. Between the dark clouds appeared bolts of black thunder, each brimming with the power of destruction. These black thunders were all black divine thunders. thousands upon thousands of black divine thunders roamed between the dark clouds, and the waves of destruction emanating from them made even the supreme experts' hearts race with fear. Before they could voice their astonishment, these enormous black divine thunders, each hundreds of feet long, had already descended from the heavens. Boom, boom, boom. The countless black divine thunders falling from the sky did not strike the endless sea below, but instead, they halted behind the Yin King. After descending, they contracted into massive thunderballs, each nearly 1,000 feet in diameter. These thunderballs hovered behind the Yin King, their forms gradually changing and condensing. What formed were giant black thunder divine tigers, each 1,000 feet tall. Roar! Tens of thousands of divine, thunder-conjured tigers roared in unison, shaking the heavens above and causing the endless seas below to surge violently. Everything felt like a scene of world-ending destruction, and these tigers, standing behind the Yin King, formed an army. This was the Thunder Tiger Legion, forged from the divine thunder of heaven and earth. Such terrifying power! Even the Grand Elders of the Sun God Temple and Stellar Radiance Pavilion were horrified. They couldn't believe that all of this came from a mere 5th-grade Supreme Yin King. The shock was also reflected on Tai Heng's face, facing Yin King. All tricks and illusions. Despite the shock, Tai Heng did not believe that a 5th-grade Supreme could be behind this. In his mind, everything before him could only be a superficial illusion. Watch as I shatter this illusion with a single strike. With a fierce shout, Tai Heng quickly performed a series of hand seals. Boom! As the hand seals changed rapidly in Tai Heng's hands, the giant black iron sword wielded by the Great Sword Avatar slowly rose. Then, with a terrifying burst of power from the Avatar, the black sword was swung forward, cleaving toward Yin King and his Thunder Tiger Legion. Sky-slaying Demon Sword. 2 devastating attacks collided mid-air, shaking the sky and the space, still in the process of self-repair, collapsed once again due to their clash. Boom! The void shattered like glass, with subsequent collapses occurring in a chain reaction. Within mere moments, the collapse extended tens of thousands of feet, engulfing both Yin King and Tai Heng, leaving the outside world unable to see their status clearly due to the shattered dark space surrounding them. However, within that dark space, the collision between the destructive sword light and the battle-intent tiger claw revealed a different scene. It was not the evenly matched struggle most expected, but rather one side overwhelming the other. The sky-slaying demon sword, which contained the power to severely injure a 9th-grade Supreme, was directly shattered after clashing with the tiger claw forged from the battle intent of heaven and earth. The force from this celestial power shattered the sword light and nearly caused the destruction of the power itself. The full force attack had been completely suppressed, and Tai Heng spat out a mouthful of blood. He stared at Yin King in disbelief. But at that moment, in his eyes, beside the disbelief, there was also a trace of fear. Tai Heng now realized what he was facing. The Yin King of the martial realm could fight him because the entire world was behind the Yin King. The Yin King had already been blessed by the heavens, and how could a mere 9th-grade Supreme like Tai Heng possibly go against the heavens? A 9th-grade Supreme could not touch the heavens, whereas the Earth Supreme could imitate them. But the Yin King's methods were even more advanced. He controlled the heavens and earth themselves. Boom! As the fear spread across Tai Heng's face, the sky-slaying demon sword was shattered by the battle-intent tiger claw. The destructive shockwaves surged toward him, causing Tai Heng to cough up another mouthful of blood, still in shock. However, his true disaster was yet to come. After using the power of the battle intent from heaven and earth to shake Tai Heng and force him to spit 2 mouthfuls of blood, Yin King's eyes revealed a cold indifference. His palm struck forward once more. Boom! With the second strike from Yin King, the battle intent of heaven and earth surged again, and the battle intent tiger claw, which had already shattered the demon sword, exploded with even more power. The original battle intent tiger palm already contained the power to crush Tai Heng, but now, with the addition of even more battle intent, this attack became even more terrifying. The force of it had surpassed what a 9th-grade Supreme could endure. When this immense power struck the great sword Xun'er body of Tai Heng, it directly shattered the supreme Dharmakaya. The great sword Xun'er body exploded into countless spiritual energy fragments, which were swiftly devoured by the surrounding battle intent that surged from the space. At the same time, Tai Heng was gravely injured as the force overwhelmed him. He was unable to withstand it and lost consciousness. Whoosh! Tai Heng, who had lost consciousness, fell like a bird with broken wings from the shattered dark space. Many powerful figures outside quickly turned their gaze toward the fallen figure descending from the darkness, but because the surrounding space was filled with fragments from the shattered battlefield, no one could immediately identify who had fallen out of the dark space. Had the Flame King been defeated? Or had Elder Tai Heng been destroyed? All the powerful figures present were eager to find out, as the result would decide the outcome of the great battle in this sea region. Under the intense gaze of all, the figure falling from the broken dark space slowly became clear to everyone, and the result took most of them by surprise. The fallen one was, in fact, Tai Heng. Impossible. Elder Tai Heng actually lost to that Flame King. Haha. Tai Heng from the Titan, heavenly domain lost. He lost. Tai Heng's defeat was like a bomb dropped into the sea region, throwing the entire area into chaos. For the martial realm experts, it was a shot of excitement, but for those from the Titan heavenly domain, the Sun God Temple, and the Stellar Radiance Pavilion, it was disastrous news. Tai Heng lost. None of them had expected that even with his supreme Dharmakaya, Tai Heng couldn't withstand the Flame King's strike, which was infused with heavenly battle intent. Could it be that the Flame King had reached the strength of an Earth Supreme? Brothers, let's kill all these invaders who dare to challenge the martial realm. Yeah. The Flame King's victory instantly boosted the morale of all the martial realm experts. After confirming Tai Heng's defeat, they threw all their strength into battling the experts from the three great forces. The once peaceful sea region was transformed into a battlefield filled with dust and smoke. Damn it! As the flames of war reignited, the Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple cursed angrily. He had not expected Tai Heng to be defeated, and to be defeated so miserably. It was almost unbelievable. Hee, what do you think? Our martial realm's Flame King, quite the surprise, huh? Elder Song, seeing the Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple's expression darken, chuckled. Let your martial realm have a little moment of pride. The Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple snorted coldly, then quickly turned and soared toward the falling Tai Heng. He had already realized that continuing the battle would only lead to defeat, so he gave up on further confrontation with Elder Song. All Titan Heavenly Domain and Sun God Temple experts, hear my command. Quickly retreat. Abandon the fight. The Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple's voice rang out like a great bell, and on the other side, the Grand Elder of the Stellar Radiance Pavilion also abandoned his fight with Elder Lu and prepared to lead his forces to retreat. The three great forces had initially chosen to engage with the martial realm because of Tai Heng's presence, but now that Tai Heng had fallen, they had no hesitation in retreating, because the outcome was already decided. Whoosh! The Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple sped across the sky. He looked grimly at Tai Heng, who was plummeting toward the sea below. If it weren't for the combined strength of the three great forces, he would have killed Tai Heng right then and there. Boom! Just as the Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple was heading toward the falling Tai Heng, a resounding, thunderous drumbeat echoed from above. Hearing this, the Grand Elder's face changed dramatically. Could it be? The Grand Elder's expression shifted, and he quickly looked toward the sky. What he saw was a torrent of battle intent sweeping out from the broken dark space. Boom, boom, boom. A massive flood of battle intent, accompanied by earth-shattering destructive force, descended from the shattered dark space and engulfed Tai Heng. The one who unleashed this torrent of battle intent was none other than the Flame King, who slowly emerged from the dark space. Now, the Grand Elder of the Sun God Temple finally understood the severity of the situation. Flame King, how dare you kill the Great Elder of the Titan Heavenly Domain? Aren't you afraid of Tai King's retaliation? The Great Elder of the Sun God Temple, witnessing the ruthless actions of Flame, angrily shouted. However, even though he was furious, He dared not step in to block the torrent of battle intent headed towards Tai Heng, because the power within it was enough to heavily injure a ninth-grade supreme like him. Hearing the great elder's words, Flame gave him a cold glance and said, "Take your people and leave, or I'll kill all of you." Flame's chilling words echoed through the air, and at the same time, the vast Tiandi tiger army behind him stomped their feet on the void, shaking the heavens and earth with a resounding tremor. "All right, fine. You're ruthless in the martial realm. We admit defeat, but this won't be so easily settled." Hearing Flame's cold words, the great elder of the Sun God Temple could only grit his teeth and turn to retreat. Boom. After the great elder of the Sun God Temple retreated, the torrent of battle intent descending from the sky still slammed towards Tai Heng below. There was no mercy in the force. As for Flame, the martial realm was the future foundation for Lin Dong to resist the Ice Spirit clan. So no one and no force was allowed to provoke it. At least on the surface, Tai Heng served as an example to intimidate others. However, aside from this surface purpose, there was another hidden one. As the torrent of battle intent approached within a few thousand feet of Tai Heng, that hidden purpose finally revealed itself. Buzz. Suddenly, around the unconscious Tai Heng, space started to fracture. The fracture was only about a foot in size, but it was clearly adjustable. Tai Heng's figure fell into the fractured space and gradually disappeared. The void space around Tai Heng slowly shattered, and the broken area was as smooth as a mirror. At this moment, Flame, who was watching from above, slowly curved the corner of his mouth into a cold smile. The next moment, a space ripple rapidly appeared beneath his feet. The heavenly battle drum quickly materialized, and Flame's foot directly pressed onto it. Boom! The sound of the sacred drum echoed through the heavens and earth, and the battle intent of the world quickly condensed into the Tiandi Tiger army. Then, a massive beam of battle intent, nearly 10,000 feet long, slammed towards Tai Heng, who was gradually vanishing into the void. What? As the battle intent beam launched by Flame came toward him, a voice of astonishment rang out from the space around Tai Heng. Then, a terrifying aura spread through the void. A terrifying aura suddenly appeared between the heavens and earth, and its overwhelming strength caused the previously retreating great elder of the Sun God Temple to change his expression. The aura that had just emerged was far beyond the threshold of a ninth-grade supreme. It was a true Earth supreme-level presence. Crash! Torrential spiritual energy surged from the void and quickly coalesced into a towering mountain peak in the sky. The peak looked incredibly real, but it was made entirely of condensed spiritual energy. This feat could only be accomplished by someone above the Earth's supreme level. Celestial phenomenon. Once the massive spiritual mountain peak formed, it soared through the sky, crashing into the battle intent beam above. The collision of these two terrifying forces created a shockwave that shattered the surrounding space. The sudden scene left many powerful experts in the heavens and earth stunned. Whether from the martial realm or the opposing three major forces, those preparing to flee looked on in astonishment and confusion. From that area, the aura of an Earth supreme-level expert had emerged. Crash! From the shattered space above, Flame also turned his gaze towards the broken area below. Then, under the watchful eyes of all the powerful experts in the heavens and earth, a figure slowly began to emerge from the fractured space. The figure that emerged from the broken space was a man dressed in brown robes. His physique was as imposing as Tai Heng's, and with a single tremor, he could shake the very heavens and earth. The overwhelming Earth supreme aura emanated from this man. As the brown-robed man appeared, a look of wild joy spread across the faces of the Titan, heavenly domain experts nearby. This brown-robed man was none other than their domain lord, Tai Wang. The domain lord has come personally. Is that the domain lord of the Titan heavenly domain, Tai Wang? He once heavily injured an Earth supreme-level expert of the same rank. The appearance of the man in the brown robe caused a stir in the heavens and earth. The martial realm experts' expressions turned solemn, while the warriors of the Titan heavenly domain were overjoyed. As for the strong individuals from the Sun God Temple and Stellar Radiance Pavilion, they too breathed a sigh of relief. With the arrival of an Earth Supreme expert, the battle was sure to take a dramatic turn. Tai Heng has indeed appeared, Elder Song muttered as he observed the figure of Tai Heng emerging from the shattered space. There was no surprise in his voice. He had anticipated this moment all along. Meanwhile, high above in the sky, Yin still hovered in midair like an iron tower, his gaze cold as he looked down at Tai Heng, who had appeared below, and the Tai Heng who had been rescued by him. A flash of cold light flickered in Yan's eyes. Tai Heng's arrival had been within Yan's expectations. His ruthless pursuit of Tai Heng was meant to force Tai Heng out. But now, the situation was more complicated than Yin had anticipated. For besides Tai Heng, other troubles had also surfaced. Sigh, Tai Heng, you really can't stay calm, can you? As everyone marveled at Tai Heng's sudden appearance, a calm and composed voice echoed from not far off in the shattered space. Following this voice, an elderly figure dressed in gray appeared in the distant void. The gray-robed elder who appeared after Tai Heng was also releasing his aura into this world. The powerful energy emanating from him was filled with an extremely masculine and violent force, and the oppressive pressure he radiated was even stronger than Tai Heng, who had reached the peak of Lower Earth Supreme. This was already the level of Upper Earth Supreme. It's the Hall Master. The Hall Master is here. The appearance of the gray-robed elder caused the experts of the Sun God Temple nearby to cheer in excitement, for the elderly figure who had appeared was none other than the Hall Master of the Sun God Temple, Sun Elder. However, just as the warriors of the Sun God Temple were overjoyed at the arrival of Sun Elder, he coldly glanced at them. At the same time, a voice full of disdain came from his mouth. You trash. The elders of the Titan Heavenly Domain didn't escape, but you guys, after seeing their fall, are already planning to flee with your army. You've truly embarrassed the Sun God Temple. If you don't want to die, get lost. But from now on, you are no longer part of the Sun God Temple. Sun Elder's icy words caused the faces of the 100 or so Sun God Temple experts to change drastically. The other powerhouses in the surroundings also looked at Sun Elder with shock. Although they had heard that Sun Elder was straightforward in his approach, this act of abandoning 100 supreme experts with a single sentence was far too reckless. Just as Sun Elder's words fell, another hearty laugh rang out through the air. Heh, it seems that your old temper, Sun Elder, needs to be fixed. Otherwise, as your allies, we might end up suffering because of you. The cheerful laugh echoed through the heavens and earth, and from not far away in midair, an old man with a starry aura and a star sword on his back appeared. He was the master of the Stellar Radiance Pavilion, Wanqing Earth Supreme. With the appearance of Wanqing Earth Supreme, the warriors of the Stellar Radiance Pavilion quickly moved to stand behind him, awaiting orders. Meanwhile, the martial realm experts' expressions turned grim. The appearance of the three leaders of the Titan Heavenly Domain, Sun God Temple, and Stellar Radiance Pavilion had placed the martial realm in an extremely perilous position. Whoosh! The sound of space tearing echoed, and a figure appeared beside Elder Song. It was Elder Lu, his face filled with worry as he observed the three Earth Supreme experts ahead. Elder Song, haven't the martial ancestor and realm master taken care of the Black Spirit clan yet? Elder Lu asked anxiously. Now that the leaders of the three major forces have arrived, Yin King alone won't be able to hold them off. Should we summon Elder Fin Yunzi and Elder Panling, who are guarding the martial realm? Upon hearing Elder Lu, Elder Song waved his hand. There's no need for concern, Elder Lu. The situation is still within our expectations. Really? It's still within expectations? Elder Lu was shocked by Elder Song's words. Although he didn't know much of the behind-the-scenes information regarding this operation, he couldn't understand what Elder Song meant. The arrival of the three leaders is actually a good thing, Elder Song said. If they hadn't shown up, that would have been a problem. Elder Song's words undoubtedly left Elder Lu puzzled. He had no idea what kind of plan Elder Song had made with the martial ancestor and the others. However, Elder Lu knew that Elder Song was the strategist behind all the high-level plans in the martial realm. At least in the years since the establishment of the martial realm, Elder Song's plans had shown clear results. Therefore, when it came to the plan behind this operation, Elder Lu could only continue to trust Elder Song. But Elder Lu was still eager to know what exactly was the plan behind this action. With this thought, Elder Lu turned his gaze to the Flame King in the sky. In the face of the three Earth Supremes, could the Flame King truly hold his ground? At this moment, high in the sky, the leaders of the three great powers gathered together. Under the terrifying aura of the three of them, the space in the sky itself showed signs of distortion. But despite facing these three Earth Supremes, the Flame King showed no intention of retreating. Behind him, the mighty tiger army of heaven and earth gathered their battle intent with fierce intensity. The Flame King of the martial realm is indeed formidable, said Sun Elder, gazing at the Flame King. Not long ago, I learned that your martial realm acquired the relics of the sacred drum, Heavenly Sovereign, at the Great Thousand Conference. Initially, I thought the inheritor of the sacred drum would be the martial ancestor, but I never expected that the sacred drum's inheritance would fall into your hands. Sun Elder looked at the Flame King and said, "What you're using now is the so-called sacred drum technique, isn't it?" Upon hearing Sun Elder's words, the Flame King, far in the distance, slightly narrowed his eyes. The sacred drum technique? The supreme battle formation technique from the legend? Sun Elder's words also caused Tai King and Wanqing Earth Supreme beside him to tremble. They knew that Sun Elder had recently been invited to the Great Thousand Conference, but they had no idea that the martial realm was also on the invitation list. Why didn't you mention such important information to us earlier? Wanqing Earth Supreme asked, somewhat displeased. He knew full well what the sacred drum technique represented. After all, the sacred drum Heavenly Sovereign had become one of the 10 greatest powerhouses in the Great Thousand world by using this technique. The Great Thousand Conference has strict confidentiality requirements. What I just told you has already violated the rules set by the Ancient God Clan and the 10,000 Spirits God Clan, so I will not mention it again, Sun Elder replied. Hearing this, Tai King and Wanqing Earth Supreme dared not bring it up further, as they understood what the Ancient God Clan and the 10,000 Spirits God Clan represented. Even so, the temptation of the sacred drum technique was too great for powerhouses at their level. If they could obtain it, dominating the entire wandering realm would no longer be impossible. Flame King, you've injured the Grand Elder of my Titan, heavenly domain. For that, I will not spare you. Tai King said coldly, his gaze now filled with murderous intent. Is that so? What a coincidence, the Flame King responded.